Rings. Okay. See how this goes. So apparently, Japan is having UFO hotspots. Um, Actually, I think China is busier. Of course, China is a lot bigger than Japan. It's just China is not reporting on it and things like that. So there's a lot of cover up there for obvious reasons, for whatever reason. It doesn't mean it's it's re-engineered technologies. I think it's. Well, in Japan, I think it's a mix of both. Definitely, of course, and everywhere is. But as for actual alien energy, it feels like there's just more of it, like not the re-engineered stuff, but at least in China. I guess I should do this about China instead. Well, I saw the headline about Japan. I just went for that. So I'm not going to go too deep into that, or I'm just going to connect to some of the energies of it. They're just, of course, there's still a U.S. presence there, so they're obviously screwing around with everything as usual. Creating a clone Bidens and probably have a whole bunch of them there underwater somewhere underground as he slowly taps out. We're just having some of those energies to see where we get with that. Yeah, I'm not gonna go too deep into that. It's not really I just connect to whatever energies I have anything to say about that. Let's put it that way. If there's anything to say at all. Not that I think our world is messed up. Other worlds are messed up. Aliens don't have it all figured out either. Many feel like they do. I don't know about that. I think they got major problems themselves. They're connected to our world. They got problems. Let's put it that way. The reptilians engineer the human race. I don't think so. I think there's just a history that we're just not allowed to see. Now, obviously, we have a lot of reptilian in our DNA and brains and whatever else we got going on. And that a lot of this is to harness the physical realms. So one thing about the reptilians, they kind of like master. I feel like they mastered a lot of the physical connections for whatever reason. They have nothing better to do. Whatever. There are other beings that do it too, but like a feline energy feels like it'll still be lighter. But the reptilians a lot more rounded. Take it where. You can take that for wherever you want. Of course, we're a combination of feline, reptilian, of course, canine, pig, grasshopper, whatever else is out there, bear. Everybody has their own fish, blowfish, whatever, jellyfish. I don't know, whatever. Everyone has their own DNA set up. We their soul connections are all different, but some here are definitely full breed reptilian energy, especially you see that in the gangs. Just their soul, they're just whatever they're going through there. But also, gangs have a lot of canine energy too. Canines can be kind of badasses too. You see like pit bulls attacking each other, being genetically engineered. So it's not just reptilians. It's just that we have a heavy dose of reptilian here, but it doesn't mean that's all there is. It's another way of looking at it. You don't see like cat fights. They have reptilian cats too, of course, but you can't put them in a ring, tell them what to do. Dogs will fight each other, but cats are just run off, telling everybody to kiss off. But anyway, of course, I guess the lions and all the tigers, they can be trained to a certain level. So there's that. But either way, there's just a history that I don't think we're just allowed to know, or if we even need to know. Obviously, when you cross over, you get some kind of version of it when you're here, but I think a lot of it's still blocked off for whatever reason. Not that we'll ever get our act together here, but you never know. Probably not. Well, according to the way things are looking, right, it's going to be a while. The other thing is the spirit world corrupt. I hope I spelled that right. Let me look that up. I wrote that up quickly. Okay, got it right. Yeah, so spirit guides, even higher self beings, if they start screwing around, um, it's up to the individual to call them out. It's good to clear out your spirit guides, higher selves. Spirit guides, I mean, they have a combination of light and dark, so they can, if they're screwing around with your timeline and you're not doing anything about it, they're going to keep doing it. And that's how lenient it is there. And of course, you have other guides, but you're like accepting it in some ways. Like some people become shopaholics, some people become drug addicts, whatever. You can still have a dark guide and that can influence you. Another guide's just like, this doesn't look good, but you're giving the okay for it by accepting their, I don't know, invitation or however you want to word it, their programming. So I know they talk about society, government mind controlling everybody. What about the spirit realms? It's still got issues though. We don't really acknowledge it that much. It's not really in daily conversation. Not really. You go to like some dinner party. Who the hell's talking about those guys? I mean, you might talk. I mean, new age people talk about the spirit realms, but they don't. It's still kind of like a giant mystery for obvious reasons. But some just can't. I don't know. It's just, I guess they can't wrap their imagination around it. But I mean, I think the spirit realm is pretty screwed up in a lot of ways, and it's not. It's hard. I mean, how to think about that. So like, that becomes more part of a daily conversation. Like, you just obviously not everybody can feel their guys' energies, but some of them get way too much credit too, because these guys are just. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of it you're doing it yourself, your own work, and they're just kind of helping. They don't always. I don't think they always deserve the credit that they get, if they get any for it at all. I think they're pretty messed up when it gets down to it. And I'm not talking about the aliens and the reptilians, the Anunnaki. I'm not talking about just the spirit beings in general. Obviously, they're a mixture of all those things anyway. But the ones that are supposed to be helping us are a lot of times clueless and arrogant and lost and shouldn't be there helping us. I don't really know what the hell they're doing half the time. And they don't really articulate what they're doing either. If they're doing something, I don't know. I think sometimes it's like they're blindfolded, it feels like. There is a lot of arrogance there, that's for sure. Of course, that's obviously connected more to the darker energies that are here that want us. I mean, they're obviously here to test us and everything too. But it's good to call it out so they can back off and just like, I don't need these challenges or whatever challenges that you don't feel like you need to go through. That will always work because you have a contract sometimes, but not always. Just of course there's trickster beings that they have the spirit realms, but it has dark and light. They're all kind of mingling with each other. So there's that. So you have a trickster being swoop in and try to screw around because it just has nothing better. And it's part of its creation purpose is to screw around until it gets called out, healed, or kicked out, or whatever it is. It's just not part of daily conversation. And understood, you don't see them, and not everybody can feel their energies or, communicate with them. But as it becomes more part of our daily conversation over time, without putting them on a pedestal, I don't think you should do that. I think they're too screwed up. I don't think they deserve it. I don't know if they even. Well, I think they would like to be put on a pedestal. Yeah, because they get. They can get lazy too. They can get just like us. They can get, because they're part of our energy. So it can get kind of controversial with all that too. Because I think many people want to put them on a pedestal, which it's up to you on that one. But if you think they're just friends and there to help, if you feel like it's helping, that's good. But that's not always the case. So anyway. Without going into too much into that, see how far that goes with that one. Because I think they should be called out a lot, actually. I get tired of talking about them. All right, so I'm talking about my prep sessions. I have to schedule it. We have a shop here. The webinar social network behind the scenes. Oh yeah, I just finally watched The Dial of Destiny. I didn't go to the theaters to see it. I'm glad I didn't go see it in the theaters. God, that's a hard one to watch. I saw the Crystal Skull in the theaters, and that was yeah, that was. I don't even remember it. There's not much to remember from that one, actually. I think there's more to forget than to remember. So they have the Dial of Destiny and Archimedes, something like that. Archimedes. Archimedes did not create a Dial of Destiny. He created. I think. Let's see if I still have that here. Archimedes. Invention. He created a screw, a claw, and I don't know what this other thing is. Steam powered cannon. Really? Well, that's helpful. Maybe that wasn't him. No, I guess he was involved with that too. That's all we need, isn't it? So there's no Dial of Destiny, but I wasn't going to channel this because what am I channeling? it's like channeling hot air, a bunch of nonsense. But anyway, so there's got myself a Archimedes screw. Okay, got herself a claw and yeah, a bazooka. There's no Dial of Destiny. Dial, of Destiny. He didn't create a Dial of Destiny, which looks like that. Which I guess that's according to Wikipedia. Because I'm not about to read too much into this. I guess it's this thing. Shit. Okay. Yeah, they're kind of stretching on this one. But anyways, this is kind of like what was it? Kind of like some kind of it's for the Olympic Games. It's just like just a track the 4-year cycle in the game. Yeah, it's not super common. It's like I think I channeled this a while back. It was like kind of like the first computer system level. So yeah. So that's it. Pretty exciting. They did have time travel in it, and they put Nazis back in. I guess Indiana Jones, he can't get Nazi out of his DNA, at least for a villain. Then again, Temple of Doom worked out pretty good, but either way. Who knows? Dial of Destiny was like, yeah, it's better than Crystal Skull, but not by much. That's a tough one to get through, actually. It's a bunch of privileged people that just probably shouldn't be making movies anymore, but either way, more far to them on that one. Okay, so we're going to Japan, UFO energies. There's like an Arcturian energy with that. Obviously, there's a Zeta, there's a little bit of everything. So just tap into that. Reptilians, engineering humans. I imagine a lot of reptilians would definitely take that title. Or maybe not. Somebody will get us and just like, we're not part of that. That's not our work. Somebody else hijacked our stuff. So either way, and the spirit energy is probably disconnected to astral and super has to say anything about that. So okay, right, blessings. Here you go. Greetings. Hey, we are the Japan consciousness and the UFO frequencies. UFO beings feel like they can connect to Japan without getting energy attacked, without it's easier to observe humanity's frequency to a certain level. And of course, the beings that are around in Japan are definitely around China for various different reasons. And just that, well, many alien energies, of course, those are prehistoric beings, basically. The aliens are, connected to the history of Japan and China. Technically, they see it as one, not necessarily as separate. It's just on the physical realm they see it as different, but really they're just cousins of each other, you can say. And of course, there are future humans that connect to those regions also. One of the reasons for UFO presence is, yes, the Fukushima situation. And of course, it's up to humanity to decide what they wish with that. But, there's a lot of, you are getting assistance there to a certain level because they are depositing a great amount of waste into the oceans. If not now, soon. As for the alien frequent around the U.S., it is around the United States. It is, you can say, more vicious around extraterrestrial frequencies, more drama. China has that to a certain level, nothing like the U.S. The U.S. wants to weaponize everything, at least the shadow governments do. And they're kind of obsessed with the UFO presence. Some are, people are. This is their shadow government. They are, yes, many of them are addicted to actually genetic engineering with extraterrestrial life. And some of them have done a lot to themselves. Of course, you can't really prove it here physically. Of course, mentally, a lot of them have gone crazy. Of just basically wanting more power, wanting a multi-dimensional life, wanting to go to another world, and so on. Just like many of you go through, but you can't get it. But others can, those that have connections can. But of course, they do experiments on people or military, actually, that are usually not that successful, as some of you know. Japan does have a healing frequency around it. China does to a certain level, but obviously because of government energies, it's very much controlled. So around Japan, basically, alien beings just like to visit just for the frequency. It's just to visit, they feel like they're free there. And just feel like almost they can pretty much show up physically if they absolutely need. And sometimes they do. But no one would really tell the difference, really. It's just a nice place to visit. And many people are moving there. Yes, it's still a small, part of the world compared to China. But sometimes it's smaller regions, like a little pocket. And where, yes, strange anomalies can occur and it doesn't hit the news or anything like that. And as long as it's, assisting with your frequency, a place like China can help with world peace, or Japan. China can. Does it? Not always. China does play an important part here, of course. Well, it's a lot of propaganda to say how, yes, it's not perfect, but it can also be extremely peaceful at the same time. There are places in China that can be very peaceful. There's a reptilian presence there. And it's not exactly clean. So that's like more of the darker side of China's frequency. Of course, Japan also has its difficulties also. We have Singapore and China, two places. Of course, there's other areas too on the world, but to name those two, they do have a frequency of clearing out the frequencies of this Earth for it to be a little more positive overall for this Earth's survival. Of course, there are many other places, small towns, things like that. But there are areas where it's just you do receive a lot of protection from a world that has to go through its confusion, has to go through its darkness. Not just for contract reasons, it's just because the soul needs it for their progression, to release it. Yes, to release darkness, a lot of times to go through it. Doesn't mean you have to take it to the full extreme with some. But then again, going through that darkness process, and yes, it might take a while. Greetings, reptilians. Greetings. Reptilians involved with human or a contributor to your genetics, basically for human survival on a physical level. You say at one time the humans were just survival skills. Well, be able to handle your environment. Let's put it that way. Basically, the reptilian energy is just for you to have a stronger body. Let's put it that way. maybe not too strong, but strong enough to handle the heats, the colds, not on all levels, but at least it's brought some assistance there. So yeah, that's one of our contributions, you can say. Not now, reptilians aren't necessarily here for control. Okay, some might be, or several, depending on which ones it connects to. Uh, Reptilians do see this world as a playground, and yes, they are very selfish about it, but they're warning also. I mean, humans do stupid things, and so do the aliens. So if you feel like you did something, that didn't make any sense, don't worry. You probably have 5 other aliens that did the same thing or worse. So they're very curious about how humans get out of situations, especially how they get into them, but how they get out. And just you have challenges here that are very unique compared to other worlds. And you can say there's alien groups. It's like, wow, I would avoid that the whole time, but then they incarnate here and they end up making more mistakes than they realize. So it's like that's the thing about this world. Realms usually it's like you don't necessarily say you avoid problems. It just you have an awareness of to have less challenges. You're just part of it's part of the collective of you just don't have to go through what your world goes through. But then you clear that out and you allow all the challenges of your world to come through. And it's like it's a challenge for everybody. When alien worlds, there can be challenges there, but like a small part of the population has to go through a heavy, test as your world's going through. Very, very small. There are even high vibrational worlds still have their difficulties, but nothing like this. This world finds a way to lower the frequencies of everyone, but that's you could say its uniqueness, its charm, whatever how you want to, its romantic side, however you want to look at it. And once again, many do feel like they can find this world as home where they can't find it anywhere else. Like, you'd be surprised how many feel like you'd be surprised how many feel like they're rejected in the alien realms, and here they feel like they're just more at peace. Let's let that one sit with you for a while. Greetings. Yes, this is a message from the astral realms, more of a neutral frequency. Spirit guides, spirit beings. There's nobody in the spirit realm really. I mean, yes, it's a karmic cord, but still, there's nobody telling you what you should do and what you should not do. You still have freedom. And yes, there are spirit guides that, and others see it that they accumulate a lot of darkness. And that's why so many guys like this world, because they can explore the dark side of themselves where they can't always do that in other realms. And then sometimes it goes a little bit too far. Like you have a dark spirit guide around you, and then some just can get violent here just by feeling the guide's presence. And just that's not the guide is trying to push you towards darkness. It's just that you can feel it and you kind of get tempted by the dark side, you could say. It's kind of like you just feel the urge to do bad things. Not everybody has that, but it's just one way of looking at it. It's just, it's around like a cartel, a gang that goes through a lot of dark spirit guys do. They wanted to, they put a lot of their darkness there to, for them to not get caught. For them to continue that agenda as long as eventually it will be cleared, but not the easiest. That's why the light and darkness, is everywhere. And light will find its way eventually. But sometimes the human has to go through what it needs to go through for light can intervene. Yes, it's just, of course, on a higher self level, the higher self to yes, my human self needs to go through that. So back off, which is kind of, some of you probably say, wow, that's messed up. But, as part of the personal journey, it's like, okay, now I'm going to allow everyone to try to save me or put that person in jail, whatever it is. And then, it's like, okay, it's gone way too far. And eventually, like when there is a time when it comes into for like a criminal to be caught eventually, and yeah, it is a little strange there, but realizing the higher realms, it all makes sense. On your realm, might not make any sense at all. Obviously, you have to go through it. But in the higher realms, I mean, even there necessarily doesn't have to make any sense. But when you see it on a soul level, what the soul has been through, the history of the soul, it's just, and of course, the soul can also, find ways to manipulate reality to still get what they want, even if they're here illegally. So it's basically, you're understanding archaeology, you're understanding your modern world to a certain level. So technology is actually helping you understand the spirit realms little by little, as you can see. You might not always like what you see, but but at least you're starting to see it and make your own judgment call or your own call. You don't have to judge, but either way. And just so this is helping the spirit realm become more known here. Like I say, you might not always like what they do. But that's why you're here to heal it. It's like I don't want that energy around me, and it just helps you clear out your own space, which is good. It's like not it's like you live in somewhere like in a home, but you're not always seeing how dirty it is until somebody shows up. It's like, wow, this place is, or they might not see it at all still. But at least the way humanity is going, you'll be able to see your spirit space more clearly. Like I say, they might not always like everyone's point of view, and that's fine. But the idea is to be able to clear your own energies, which is not easy, but at least you're becoming more aware of it. So it's not so, have this accumulation of dirtiness around your field, where you're not attracting the wrong people anymore. And you're getting somewhat of a right track or a better track, let's put it that way. It doesn't always have to be peaceful. There's still challenges the soul needs to go through, but it can be easier. And so it all helps in the all this helps in the long run, even if it is difficult.